Here we are again, KBIC members, with another candidate interview. We're here with Mr. Jerry Magnant Mayo. How's it going, Jerry?
Good. Thanks for having me down here, and this is a great opportunity for all the candidates to get their word out.
I'm glad to have you here. So let's go over these ground rules first. You have a 60-minute time limit. Use as much or as little as you'd like. These are straight-cut episodes with the exception of a few edit breaks because of this camera here, your camera. It only shoots in 10-minute segments. Have a timer here to keep track so we don't run over that time. And also no talking about other people. And that's kind of the basic ground rules here. So, Jerry, for those that know you and those that don't, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a longtime resident of Baraga. The only time I was away from Baraga was when I was in the military. I participated in 28 days in Beirut, Lebanon, and then a few months after that went Desert Shield, Desert Storm to the Persian Gulf. I've worked for the tribe. I've worked for private businesses. I've the big thing why I'm doing this and is I've traveled around from like 2000 to 2010, basically going to different tribes. And when I would go to these different tribes, the Hopis, the Pequots, the Seminoles, I would go and find out, how are they, all the good that I could get from them, and lessons learned that they did to bring back here. And I've been trying to do that now for a few years. I've been running,
When's the first time you ran for tribal council?
I think maybe 04 or 05, something like that. And like I say, Jim Billy, the chief of the Seminoles, he probably taught me the most, and basically what he taught me was always take care of your people. You take care of your people, everything will work out. And I truly believe that, especially now I'm a little older and understand a little bit more. And yeah, if the people are happy, everything must be going all right.
Okay. So have you been out campaigning?
Yes, I have. And again, like I say, I campaigned years ago, and I went door to door before, and I got to see just about every voting member in Baraga and Lance. And this year, I started a little late based on that, and I didn't get around to everybody, and that's that's what's so great about this.
So you did make some rounds, though?
I did make some rounds, and like I said before, it would be like, you get to the door, and they'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to vote for you, or I'm not going to vote for you, or whatever, and no real questions or anything like that. This time, just about, I would say the least amount of time I was at one place was probably 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And, going up to 2 hours, 2.5 hours,
wow.
An hour, so the people are aware of change. They want change, and the issues are issues that have been around for 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, you're out campaigning, but it's almost like you're out researching, too, a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to take what people said. I wanted to put it down all on a piece of paper and then go over it, after I got done seeing everybody and seeing what what everybody hit on. Was wages was a big thing, and
wages.
Yeah, and tribal employment and stuff like that. So that was that would be something I would look at, and if I didn't get on the council, I would still bring it to the council and say, this is information that I picked up going around to the membership, and this, things that maybe could be worked on.
Okay. A question I want to ask, because a lot of people had different stories, is you've been running for council or your first time was in 04. Do you have any other, like maybe family members in politics in your history?
My brother Donnie was on the council for a little while, and then I'm related to Popcorn.
So have you gotten to learn from some of these family members? And
yeah, I've learned some stuff
from
them, and like I say, talking about Jim Billy and, the Pequots are, big tribes. But another person that I kind of learned from was Jimmer Williams from Waters Meat. And over the years, I've seen how his family, his wife and him, get involved with the community and the powwows and keeping their tradition alive. And, I've never talked to him or said, hey, patted him on the back for that. But, I try to learn something every day.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get that community, like the thing at the seniors yesterday. It was just nice because there was different factions and we were all together. We were all talking about the same goal, making things better for the tribe.
Yeah.
And, the little community things like that is great.
Yeah, I was here working, actually. I didn't get to go to that, but I heard it went pretty well.
It went well, I think.
All right, so we got about 2.5 minutes on the timers. Let's go to these Facebook questions. Actually, I have to pull up Facebook first to get those questions. All the questions are available on the KBIC Tribal Members page, and I'm pulling from the pool of questions there. Members can still add questions right up to this point, so if there's a new one there today, we'll have to see. That's been part of the design of these projects, is to get that community involvement in here too. So while I'm pulling this up, let's go with so when you ran this time, I mean, was it automatic that you're running, or was there some thought and a decision coming with
Well,
this?
I think there needs to be some change. So I'm going to keep running until that change happens. Now, whether it happens with me or with somebody else, that's great. Again, going back to the community thing, something that I got started years ago, along with Gene Minch in the tribal DNR, was the Kids Fishing Derby.
Okay.
And that went away. That got tabled due to budget or whatever last year. I think we need to make sure there's money for things like that, community things like that. When we first started that, there was 63 kids, and it got up to about 600 kids.
Yeah.
No, that's great. And what's good about that is the kids are with their parents, and parents are talking, and the kids are talking, and it wasn't all just Native. It was the community.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's huge.
It was.
And we need to put money aside for stuff like that. Get personnel for stuff like that. And that needs to be on the forefront of life here in Baraga. I mean, we got a beautiful place, lake and everything. Let's utilize it. Let's get the people together and enjoy one another, learn from one another, and move forward.
Absolutely. That's perfect. Timers are going off now. We'll reset these cameras. All right, Jerry, are you ready to go to the questions from Facebook?
Sure.
It looks like we do have a new one from Carrie Ashbrook. If elected, are you willing to go through leadership training?
Well, I don't know. A leadership training. I feel that I am a leader.
I guess, that's kind of a individual opportunity by individual opportunity. You say you learn something every day, so if something pops up, you'd be like, yeah, and that's something I could do.
Right. Again, like I'm trying to learn every day and implement what I've learned. But I do feel that I'm a leader. I'm not a follower, and I think people in the community know that about me anyway.
All right, let's move to this question from Boggy Sam Manchalifo. It's nice and straightforward. It's a yes or no question even, but I'd just like to hear how you'd answer it. Do you live your life in a good way?
I try to. Again, going back, being a veteran and working with the veterans, I have, always thought, being in the Gulf War, some stuff happened in the Gulf War, and I just went on with my life thinking, whatever was normal. But as I got involved with the veteran groups and the Vet Center, I got to get a little counseling from them. And then I realized that, wow, my thinking was a little bit off. And then getting into the group sessions that they had with other veterans, I realized that, I guess I did have, some problems that I wasn't dealing with. So since then, I quit drinking, but I quit drinking. The thing that got me to quit drinking was diabetes, and then the counseling just reaffirmed that.
Yeah.
And my culture, getting back to my culture, I've talked to you in the past about different things, and I try to. Because I think, if we just keep everything inside, nobody's ever going to know, right? And maybe I was wrong, maybe I was right, but at least we had a discussion about it.
Yep, and I finally got you in the studio.
Yes. And so I don't know. Hopefully that answered his question.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to this one from Zena Pitsley. What would each candidate do for our tribe as a whole that the previous council has not?
Well, I look, again, going out and talking to people, I almost feel that we're anti-tribal. We our blood quantum. If you're a member, you should be a full-blood member. We have families that maybe have one parent that's a tribal member, or two parents and their kids aren't. How do we get that culture going if we're dividing our families, our intimate families up like that?
Yeah.
We're all tribal members.
Yes.
We should be classified as 100%, and then we won't have that issue. The wages and stuff. Talking to the people back when I worked for the tribe, it was before the Marquette Casino, and the wages are the same. They're exactly the same as they were 20 years ago,
20 years ago.
And that needs to change. We're members. We're I look at a tribe as a co-op, and we're all owners of this tribe, and we got to be treated like that. And once people start getting treated like that, then everything's going to come together. What Jim Billy and the Pequots have taught me, it'll all come together, and that'll take care of the drug problem. Yeah. That'll take care of a lot of problems. I remember when I was young, riding my bike downtown. I lived up by kind of towards the casino up that way. And if you rode your bike, we'd get together, me and my little friends, we'd come downtown, we'd ride around town. By the time I got home, my mom knew I was downtown. Downtown was out of limits. Everybody was your parent,
Yep.
And I don't know if we can get back to that, but that's a goal I would like to see.
So you ever have anybody say, your mom told me to tell you to get home?
Yeah.
That's what you get right there.
Right.
That's good. All right, so let's go to, moving on to this one then. From Robert Gaylor. Will the council ever let tribal members who live within the ceded territory full tribal member rights, the off-reservation voting rights, and even having off-reservation council representation? What's your opinion on that?
I've always been for opening voting rights. People talk about term limits, and the way to get around term limits is to open up the voting. Because if you got a good council member, you probably want that council member on there.
Yep.
So why punish that person for the term limit thing?
Yeah. We
open up the voting to surrounding areas, even if we could do counties that touch Baraga. There you go. And again, the getting that line for where we're getting our like saying you got a tribal member, a mother and a father, and the kids aren't. Well, then we make everybody members, right? Because they are members.
Yep.
And that's going to get into the voting pool, and then that's gonna generate positive things.
Yep. So let me ask you: are you a fan of proxy voting, using technology to vote, or would you prefer people to vote in person?
Proxy. I years ago I went and when I was down at the Sioux, I went and seen how they did theirs, and they do it by proxy. They send out certified letters and it comes back like that. You can't really make everybody come here to vote. I mean, that's just people that live in California or whatever.
Yeah.
I think someone that lives out there is because they should be sharing in, like I say, we're a co-op, and they need to share in good and bad. And when I say good, it's the money. Because that dollar is what separates us.
Yep.
That dollar can bring us together too.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that point.
And I got some business plans. One that I know is going to make a lot of money. I've been sitting on for years, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want some other tribe to do it.
All right,
But,
well, we won't ask those kind of questions
Yeah,
then.
but we need to go down that road, and we need to start sharing money. And the first how we could do that right off the bat is the money that we give to the state. The 2% money and stuff.
Yep.
We should. When the Detroit casinos started, we were supposed to end that. We didn't have to pay that anymore.
Okay.
We're paying that. Still, we're paying that. That money can go right to the membership right away.
Okay. So let's ask about the tribe's current businesses. Then let's go to. Well, we have a minute and a half on here. I think I'm going to reset the cameras now. We'll ask that question after reset. All right. So we were going into the tribe's current businesses. What's your opinion on the casino projects?
Basically, the Marquette Casino, not having a hotel there is just mind-boggling. I don't understand how the process got into that. I look at the cigarette business, and we're getting $1,100 for each member, and I wonder why it's so low. And that's the only cigarettes being sold on the reservation. So. What's going on there? I don't really know. I look at the last 15, 20 years, and I seen businesses started through housing, and I've seen them all go away. And why? Why are they going away? We should be economic development has got to be on the forefront. What are we going to leave our kids? I know you got some young ones. What are we going to leave those guys? We're going to leave them a bunch of bills. We got to get smarter.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, what's your opinion on the tribe's Cannabis Ventures?
Well, Michigan law states that a tribal or a government, not going to be a tribal government, a state government, or whatever, can't profit from it. So that kind of takes the THC side of it out of the picture. The cannabis or the hemp side of it is wide open. And I just seen on the news today that Coors, Molson Coors is splitting their company up because they're going to be a beverage company. And what they're going to do is they're going to start infusing, THC and CBD into certain drinks.
Okay.
Now that's wide open. The president signed the Farm Bill a couple years ago. That opens it up for everybody to get into it. There's a big hemp farm in Wisconsin that maybe we should go and look at. Maybe get a CO2 extractor and start doing our own stuff. Maybe just do wholesale. Another place that I've gone to is HCI, the Winnebago tribe in Nebraska, and the Seminoles. They have business interests down in Brazil. They own land down there. The biggest cattle company in the United States is the Seminoles, and they got cattle down there. But why couldn't we rent or buy some land in Nebraska and start our own hemp?
Yeah.
And because you can get the oils from it, sell the oils, and then they're using the fibers for clothing and animal feed. So it's and those are all separate entities, those businesses.
Yes.
And if we can hit one of them, a tribe, organic, whatever it takes, to get into that kind of business, we should do it. We're the United States is on the cusp of it, and we should have been in it 3 years ago.
All right. So then this is something that's popping up more and just with conversations. What's your opinion on the tribe utilizing the funds that they are for the Cannabis Ventures?
The seniors trust should be left alone. Again, we're natives. We got to take care of our youth, and we got to take care of our elders. I can't emphasize that more. So I look at how did we even get to this place where we have to take that last money that we have in the bank, and when that money's gone, and our equity's gone, right? What kind of equity do we have at the bank now when that money's gone? And of course, banks are going to look at why. This just like I'm asking, how did we get to this point? how did we get to the point where that's the only money left? And during the vote, I was against it because again, I think we should take care of our seniors. I just kind of.
All right, well, let's move to another question then. And this, you've touched on it, but it's just another chance to get another community question out there and for you to give us another angle on it. This one comes from Robin Chosa. When considering the tribe's current economic status, what do you think can be done to ensure our economic success to keep providing services for our members?
Well, businesses, just like I talked about the hemp thing, that could be a huge business for us, and the business that I kind of been sitting on is using our sovereignty to make some money and get it into the people's pockets, get a stronger government so that we don't have to take, from our seniors. We'll have funds to do whatever we want to do. And we got to go down that road.
I think that's the angle, then, the different angle with that question. Then can you just go a little bit more into that? How can we use our sovereignty in the advantage of that business?
Well, I don't want to get into.
Okay, that's some of that side of it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to say something and have Watersmeet or Hannahville.
Okay.
Jumping on
Fair
that,
enough.
yes.
But you're letting us know you got the answer in there.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go back. Let's just go to a different topic then here a little bit, because we have been heavier on the business side of it. This one comes from Christina Wanape. What is going to be done to strengthen our Ojibwe language and culture here at KBIC?
Again, the economics and taking care of the drug problem and all that. That's a little story. When I was down at the Seminoles, I was at the sports bar down there, and I see, the waitresses working, and they look native to me. So I call one over and I said, are you a Seminole? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, I'm from Michigan and da-da-da. So she called over a couple other people. And I said, you girls are working here. You're getting $10,000 a month per cap. You're for sure got more money than me. Why you guys doing this? And they said, well, we don't have to worry about a 40-hour a week job. They have that money. They all went to college, because their community college is Florida State. They all learn their language. You go to a council meeting there, it's everybody speaking the language. So if you're just sitting there, you don't know what's going on because they're speaking Cree.
Wow.
And then going a step further with Jim Billy, that kind of took care of the drug problem because they had goals. You just weren't sitting around waiting to do nothing.
Yeah.
They all had goals. They all had whatever. And one of the things that came out of that was they all wanted to learn their culture.
Yeah.
And I could see that here. I remember one of our candidates here running from Lawrence. He was a teacher, and I remember going around with him, and these little kids would come up to him and say, native words, and it was great. And I could see that happening again, because as a parent, your little guys come home speaking the language. You're going to want to know what they're saying, yeah. And as a parent, you're going to want to be the authoritative and encourage them and be able to talk to them.
Absolutely.
So
would you like to see more cultural stuff brought right into the council meetings?
I would have to get into the council and see, what's how it's right. Going back to when, a couple of years ago when they had a little buffet before each, that was like a cultural thing. We share food.
Yeah.
And people were coming and we were talking and it was.
That's something that crosses cultures actually.
Yes.
Sharing that meal.
Right.
Absolutely. We are reaching these timers, so I'll reset the cameras again. All right, let's get back to these questions here. I have one more straightforward one from Darius Herrera. I've asked this one a couple times. Would you run for council if you were not getting paid?
Yes, I would. I'm not doing this for the money. And if people know me, like when I had businesses down there, I probably gave more money away than I spent on myself with community events, the 4th of July, whatever was going on. People that were like cancer things, spaghetti dinners. We made it a point to try to give back to the community. And yeah, I'm Bear Clan. I'm Muckwadotum. You know, I that's just the way I am.
There you go. All right, I think we sort of hit the major bullet points of what we've been going through here. Is there a topic or issue that I didn't cover that you'd like to cover?
You know, we kind of got into we hit them all, I think, and I believe I don't really think there's any other, you know, to get really in depth with, you know, the business thing. I kind of want to keep that a little bit of a secret.
And that's respectable.
But we can make some money, and we can put some money in individuals' pockets, and I think that's going to be the key to moving forward as a group, not individuals, and getting rid of that, you know, getting rid of that blood quantum thing is huge.
Yeah.
I can't see where, you know, it's genocide. We're doing it to ourselves. We got to get rid of that.
Yep. All right, then. So then, as always, it's your opportunity now to speak to voters if you'd like.
Well, you know, I want everybody to get out and vote. Hopefully vote for me. I've been doing this for a long time, running, and I would really like to get the keys and show people that we can bring people together. We can have sound economic development. And, you know, hopefully 5 years from now we'll have this interview and we'll say, okay, what did you do, you know? And
there you have it.
yeah.
All right, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.